Hey everybody, Brogart here. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about close quarters combat and how to win your AR trades, your AR fights in close quarters combat. But this video will be oriented toward people with a little bit, that don't have thousands of hours in the game, don't have, haven't been playing it for years and aren't just mechanically gifted, fantastic players. It's going to be more for players who aren't just crazy good at the game already. So keep that in mind. Let's start going through some things. The first thing I want to talk to you guys about with close quarter fighting is your pre-aim. I see a lot of players and I see a lot of streamers that struggle with pre-aim, and I screw it up too. But it is integral to being able to win a close combat peak battle. If your pre-aim is bad and their pre-aim is good, you lose. Pretty much, that's just it. So what I mean by pre-aim is your ability to aim where their body will be when they're peeking before you ever expose yourself and peek. So if you're both peeking a hallway on the same side, let's say, you aiming for their head or chest before you ever lean in and shoot. That is the most important, probably one of the most important things you can do in a close combat fight. The pre-aim is important in almost all peak battles, but in close quarters, if your pre-aim is bad and theirs is good, you lose, just straight up. Next is the pre-fire. Pre-firing is a really, really good way to get an edge in a close quarters combat. And often you'll find yourself you'll be pre-firing at longer ranges too if you start to practice it, even with DMRs or sniper rifles. But so pre-firing essentially is to shoot where your opponent may peek from before they are even visible. You just shoot. You don't care if you hit, you don't care if you miss. The idea is that if they happen to peek there, they peek into your bullets. The reason why this is a really, really useful tool is because often you don't have time to just sit there and hold a peek and hope they peek that spot and then shoot them when you see them. Often you just need to shoot at spots where they may show up in hopes that you get a tag or two so that you can all of a sudden have an advantage in the fight. Further, just holding a peek and hoping your opponent peeks so that you can shoot them when you see them will always give them the opportunity to have an advantage through peeker's advantage, which is essentially you seeing your opponent after they've already peeked on their client, on their screen. So example, they peek, they see you, they shoot, all of a sudden you're dead on your screen, and you just saw them start to shoot, and you go, oh, they must have got headshots, but they actually shot you 5 times. It's just an inherent latency that exists in shooters and online gaming. But to prevent yourself from getting beat by peeker's advantage, pre-aim, pre-fire where you think they may be, and never hold a peek for longer than just a couple of shots from your spray, a handful of shots. In line with that, people love to just hold peeks in close combat fights. One of the easiest ways to win close combat fights is by just figuring out what peek they're holding, pre-aim it properly, and then lean and blast them. There's a couple of ways I like to figure out where somebody is just peeking from before I ever do anything. And the one way is I'll just, if I'm in a position where I think I can safely do it before they could ever hit me. Sometimes they get lucky, but usually this works, is I just run across their field of view if it's like a doorway or a hallway or something small, where by the time they see me, I'm already across and into another room or something. That gives me the information to know exactly where they are. That way now if they peek, if they're still peeking that spot, I can pre-aim it properly because I know where it is. The other way I do that is I'll line up the wall where I think they may be, and instead of leaning in to shoot, I don't care about shooting, I'll just tap my Q or E to lean. I'll just tap it, pretty much tap it once. Lean, look, go back to cover. That's it. A stunning amount of players do not do this, and it gives you an opportunity to get the information that you need so that you can get your pre-aim right. Okay, so one of the tactics that I employ sometimes is a very high risk, high reward type of tactic, and usually I do when I'm either very greedy or I have to make a play. Is I do what I call the pro peek, which is where you push out so far from your cover with your before you peek that it seems so incredibly stupid, and it often is stupid because you just get owned. But this is an example of where it works, and the reason why you do it in a case in close quarters like this is because people often will pre-aim your best piece of cover, and if you run right past that pre-aim, you're going to be in a position where they have to adjust to, and because you're still moving, they might actually completely screw up and overcorrect too. So it gives you just a win, especially with peeker's advantage while you're running in there. It gives you just a short window of time to kill them or get an opening to get them. So this guy, unfortunately for him, falls for exactly what I'm talking about. So he knows where I am, and I know where he is. We can hear each other. He knows I'm in around the corner here, so he looks right at this spot, pre-aims the best piece of cover that I likely have. I run out way past it and start spraying him down, and I just get more bullets with the vector faster. So his pre-aim was essentially useless, and the result of it was that I just had a huge opening that I capitalized on. Okay, the next little tactic that I like to use in close quarters fights is the peek, no peek, peek, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's really just having the discipline to pull off your spray or start with a pre-fire, then pull back, and then come back in and shoot again. The reason why this is a relevant tactic is because it resets your spray, 1. 2, it makes your opponent think, sometimes they're gonna stop peeking, and even if they do, you just reacquired peeker's advantage by going behind cover again. So when you lean out and peek, if you have a good pre-aim, you're also gonna have peeker's advantage to use with that. But also, it's just really important to be in the habit of not just trying to shoot somebody until they're dead every time you see them. It's really a basic mistake to just think you can just constantly spray people down with the first burst you shoot them with. Just getting 1 or 2 tags on somebody is enough to give you a huge advantage in a close quarter fight. You can nade them, you can push them, force them to med, reposition, anything. So just make sure you're not just leaning and holding the peek the whole time. Peek, come out, peek another spot, maybe stand up in between if you were crouch, or crouch down if you were, so that their pre-aim gets thrown off, things like that. This is a simple one, but I've died because I didn't follow this practice. But make sure if you're fighting within, kind of semi-close proximity to somebody else, if you get tagged up and you need to med and they might not push, or make sure you're not medding in the exact same spot you just got hit, unless you can't avoid it, because you're going to get grenaded. So just make sure you move. If you're in a room that you could have just walked around a wall on the other side of the room, or crawled around out the door in the school and something like that, in some spot so you can med safely without easily being grenaded, do it. Last couple things I wanted to touch upon for close quarters combat. 1, don't hesitate to reset the fight, and what I mean by that is back off, find a new angle, pull your enemy into a different position, make them have to be in a different position if the current one they have is more advantageous than you, if you feel like you need to. And don't hesitate to just run away. If people are hot campers and just holding angles and won't, they just want you to walk into a bathroom or something to get blasted out, just leave them. They're not worth fighting. They want really the easiest kill they can get in the game, which is just blasting somebody walking in the door. Don't give it to them. Just back off. If you really want to, go find them and rip them out of their corner, and it's a very rewarding experience. Those are usually some of the best kills, is murdering a camper who's hiding in a corner. But don't hesitate to back off if you feel like it's a waste of your time, or especially if you're in a team playing with a team and you don't want anybody to sit out and have to wait. Other thing is, use flashbangs in close quarters. They're really freaking good. Don't just leave them on the ground. They make some really easy kills out of hard situations sometimes. Okay, guys, this is everything for close quarters. If you have any extra stuff to input, your own pointers, your own questions, throw them in the comments below. Let me know, what you think, and if you have any other ideas for videos you'd like to see, also let me know those. So I'll see you on the battlegrounds, and I'll see you in stream. Take care, guys.